Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we are going to discuss another topic in Buddhism, which is five clinging aggregates. So we discussed what are the five aggregates and how they're going to work, and now we are going to discuss what's the problem with it. So what's wrong with that? What's the difference between five aggregates and five clinging aggregates? Okay, so as we've been discussing, we know the fact that we are doing everything to satisfy these six senses. So um, when we see a car, so those five aggregates comes to it goes through our eyes to our mind. So then we understand, okay, this is a car, this is a BMW, this is blue, this is leather seat, this is this and all these functions. So that happens to even to Buddha or any arahant or Pacheka Buddhas. So that's the natural, that's neutral, that's natural nature. That's the nature of this environment. That's how this body works. That's how Buddha understand. That's how an arahant understand what that is. So then, when Buddha, let's say the Venerable Sariputta Thero, if he goes to Buddha, then Buddha sees Sariputta Thero's picture, and then he understands, okay, this is Sariputta Thero, this is Ananda Thero. But that's identification, identifying the external object is not a problem. But what's the problem is, once we identify that, we attach to those five: form, feeling, perception, action, and consciousness. So what Buddha does is, okay, this the five things that within his skandha, the lots, it comes to Buddha's mind. Okay, this is Venerable Sariputta, and that goes, this passes away, and there's no attachment or nothing, no interrelation. Then he understands, and that's it. But what we do is, when we see a car, that five, there's there's a lot come to our mind, and then we're not gonna let it go as it is. Then we do something on top of that because of our ignorance. We attach to those. So that attachment is the causing all the dramas. So once we attach to those five aggregates, they are called clinging aggregates. So that's where the problem starts. So as soon as, because in nature of these five aggregates, they comes in a split of a second and just passes away, arises and passes away, and that is the nature. But when we attach to that, but still that passes away, and we attach to that, and then results are going to be changing. We feel sad. Let's put that into an example. Let's say the same example we have been taking. You see your mom when she is 35, and she's very beautiful, sexy lady. That's a beautiful picture of your mom. So you attach to that picture. So, but because of this, when these reasons are changing, we discussed this in detail in few clips before. That for your mom's picture to be like that, exactly what you're seeing now, there are reasons acting together to give us that picture. But the nature is, those reasons, they are not staying together forever. If they're staying together forever, that picture you attach to stays as it is forever. But unfortunately, these reasons gonna get apart, and as a result of that, the picture you attach to is going to be either changing or going to be disappearing. That is what we don't like. So if we just, when we get those five aggregates to your mind through eye, and if you let it go without attachment, doesn't matter what happens to the external thing, if it is changing or disappearing, so who cares? It comes in and goes away. So then there's no problem. That because of our ignorance, it comes in and we attach to, but still it goes away. And now we expected that attached picture to be as it is, but it's changing. That's the nature. That's what it is. But when we attach something, when it is changing, so we are in trouble. It gives us a lot of suffering. So that is why the Buddha and the Arahants or the Pacceka Buddhas, they do not attach to those five aggregates. They do not make five clinging aggregates. It's because of, as a result of that, they do not suffer. We're talking about the mental suffering, right? So we're not talking about the physical suffering. If somebody comes and punch up the arahant, then of course he feels that because his nerve system is functioning properly. In Buddhism, we do not talk about this physical suffering. We're talking about this mental suffering. So uh, because of they do not the fact that they don't attach to these five aggregates, so they don't care what's happening or what comes in or what goes away. So I'll give you an example. Let's say there is a lady called Amanda. That Amanda lives in, let's say, far east in the UK. We don't know. When we just read the news in the newspaper, Amanda has been kidnapped and she has been stabbed. So do you think, do you probably because of this humanity you feel, ah, that's really not good, it's not a good thing, but you don't really feel sad, you know. So if you're going to a wedding and if you heard that news and you feel, oh, that's really not good, but still you go to wedding and you enjoy. But when you go to your wedding, somebody comes and tell you that your mom has been kidnapped and then stabbed to death, then are you still going to your wedding? No, 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 you will jump up and down and start crying, screaming, and calling the police. And why that different scenarios? It's still the a lady has been kidnapped and stabbed to death. Same scenario. But why that Amanda in UK and then your mom? What's the difference? Because of this attachment. The like you did that when you listening to that Amanda story, the story came to you, as five aggregates. Let it go, done and dusted, finished. But when your mom's story came in and you didn't let it go as it is, because you have attached to those five, oh my goodness, now you're gonna jump up and down and scream and all these dramas. So do you understand now the fact that when you attach to these five aggregates, all the problems start? So that's why we have to understand how do they work and what causes the suffering, what has to be done to avoid getting suffering, and what's the path. So that's exactly what Buddha said in this the noble truth, four noble truth. So when you then he understand he explained in first noble truth what is suffering. Suffering means when you attach to something, when it is changing, so you don't like that fact, so you feel suffering. What causes suffering? Your attachment. How you gonna get rid of suffering? Don't attach. What's the path? Noble eightfold path. Then how you gonna manipulate your life, your thinking, your action, your speech, and all of the behavioral patterns, your livelihood. So everything has to be manipulated such a way that you are on the right track to nibbana. So that's what exactly that clinging aggregates are. Clinging aggregates means, again, when you attach to those five aggregates, that's where you start your suffering. So what we have to practice is just once you are not attached, when you understand that fact, okay, these that's the nature, the reasons go together, hetum paticca sambhutam, the result is appearing. And once this one or many reasons got apart, the results going to be changing or disappearing. So when you understand that fact, so that's going to happen for sure, 1,000% sure that's going to happen. So if you attach in one single the fixed frame in either in a picture or the sound or smell or taste or a touch or mind, anything. But if you attach to that, when it is changing, you're going to be sad. So that's why, then when you come home, then you expected your wife to come forward and then take your briefcase and give you a hug. So that feeling, when she does it, you attach to that. So when you come home, you expect that feeling. But because your wife's busy, she's on a call, or then she's watching a movie, or she's cooking, or whatever the reason, that's not happening. Your expectation does not meet, so you are sad. But just imagine if you didn't expect that. Okay, yesterday that happened. When you opened the door, then your wife came and then took your briefcase and gave you a hug, and you felt something. So, but you didn't attach to that. So because of the fact that you didn't attach, you do not expect that to happen again. So that feeling came and just go, and that's it. There's no expectation. But once you expect that to happen again and again and again, because of your attachment, because of your ignorance, because of the fact that you have given that a big value, so you expect that again, and today it didn't happen, so now you are suffering. So that is what, ladies and gentlemen, how the suffering takes place in detail, in deep understanding. So you have to take this in serious. You have to take this seriously, because that's where everything, all the suffering starts. So hope you understand. We'll talk about this in future clips as well, in detail again with more examples. So that's it for today. Terwan Sarnai.